Thank you for watching, if you are, and welcome to this. What's going to be, for the moment, the last production podcast for a little while. More of that in a moment. But first, I want to recognise, as I've been doing in these production podcasts, the voices and lives of the prisoners against whom these monstrous crimes were committed by the NKVD on the orders of their masters in the Soviet government in April 1940 and thereabouts. And I want to share something from this book, Death in the Forest, by J.K. Zavodny. It was a book that was published, I think, in 1962, and so contains material that had only just been found. But interestingly, as a read, it was written in the period where the Soviet Union was still denying that they'd had anything to do with the death of these 20,000 or so prisoners and intellectuals of one sort or another. And the piece I'd like to share is about what happened on the journey to the forest during this part of the crime. Prisoners were executed all over the area of Smolensk and eastern Belarus. The diaries of the prisoners indicate that prisoners of all groups knew that they were going through Smolensk and disembarking at the station Gniezdovo. They knew it because some of the men in the preceding parties, and this is the piece I wanted to read in particular, had scratched their names and the names of the stations they passed on the walls of the carriages. The same carriages were used over and over again to transport the men from Kozelsk. In some instances, the travellers could decipher the signatures, and those who wrote diaries in the trains duly copied in their notebooks what they read on the walls. And when the survivors from Kozelsk later were transferred in the same carriages, they too saw the inscriptions on the walls and ceilings, such as, "We are getting off at Gniezdovo station." The diaries consistently mentioned Smolensk as the major station passed and Gniezdovo as the point of leaving the train. In this personal calendar of Second Lieutenant Jan Bartis, this laconic note can be found: "We have just arrived at Gniezdovo station, and I can see the NKVD men standing from the railway station up to the woods." And as like as not, they were put in buses with the windows painted out, or in some cases concreted over, so that the prisoners couldn't see where they were going. So, truths about this episode, this monstrous crime, emerge all the time. And even now, my grandfather, as I've been saying, has not been found. I've just finished today, thanks to my friend Jean. She's helped me translate the various requirements of this form. There's a Red Cross form. I've sent so many requests for information about Witold Mazewicz, and what an honour it is to say his name. We think that he disappeared, was arrested round about March 1940. And since he was in the area where a lot of the other officers were, who met their end in the Katyn crimes, we think that is maybe what happened to him too. But isn't it astonishing that after such a long time, these facts are still not known. But that is the case, isn't it, for thousands, millions possibly of families throughout the world who have yet to learn the exact fate, and the exact whereabouts of their loved ones. And the play is written to pay respect to people who are in that situation, to offer a glimmer of hope that despite the most awful things that happen between people of different nations, in the end we are all just ordinary people. And as Timothy Snyder says in Bloodlands, the banality of goodness balances what Hannah Arendt calls the banality of evil. We're all capable of the most astonishing evil, and we're all capable of the most astonishing good. So the production has to take a pause. Life happens, and unfortunately we couldn't in the end replace cast members who had become unable to continue. Health is the most important thing in life, isn't it? And health, family, creativity, imagination, service. And it's in that spirit of recognizing that we are all human, we are all ordinary people ultimately, that I sign off this podcast series for the moment with my huge thanks to everybody backstage and on stage who have helped realize this dream of turning this play, this tribute to Witold Macewicz and to his contemporaries. All of you have helped certainly give me the most astonishing experience of my life to write these pages of this play, and to have very talented actors and technicians rehearse it and see you who've been part of it produce finer performances than the words deserve. We can't take it to a stage as we'd hoped this year, so we shall take it to the stage another year. And there I think I'll leave it, so that this series of insights, as inadequate as they are, into the process of putting a production together, that this series doesn't finish on a down note. Writers and actors, if such I may be allowed to call myself, all of us are writers, all of us are actors, all of us are people of the theatre, in one way or another. We go to theatre, we see theatre, we produce theatre. And by such artifice do we present the truths of our humanity. And in so doing, hopefully, we make richer the possibilities of being human. And in the spirit of the words of the Polish national anthem, I continue this project, albeit with a pause, however long that may last. Poland will not die. Poland will not perish.